I've owned my 2003 9.3 behind me here for 7 years, and it's only left me stranded once. That was when I blew a tire on the side of the freeway and I couldn't get my jack under it to replace the tire. But mechanically, this car has never left me stranded until recently when it almost did. After running some errands, I came out to the car and got a coolant low warning, which is obviously never good. I came under here, I didn't see anything obvious. I checked things like the coolant tee, all these radiator hoses, water pump area, heater core, things like that. Everything looked fine. I topped off the coolant, was able to limp it the rest of the way home. When I got home, I did notice finally where the leak was coming from, and it is right down there. You can see that line that has sort of collapsed with the oil on it. That is an oil cooler line. All that oil is left over from when I used to have a power steering leak years ago. But that line was punctured and was just slowly kind of bleeding out coolant everywhere. Went ahead and put the order in on Saab parts. There's actually 2 lines for the oil cooler. There's one at the bottom and one at the top, and it looks like both of them go to the thermostat housing, which is right back here. So I ordered both of them to replace. I'm not sure the best way to kind of go about this repair. I think we might try going from the side, meaning let's take out the battery tray, all of that. Worst case, we might have to take off the vacuum pump and power steering pump, but I'm hoping we don't have to do that. So I guess without further ado, let's go ahead, get into it. There's a bolt down here at the front that's a 13 mil, and that holds the battery down to the tray. Holding the tray down, there are 3 T40 bolts we have to undo. We also have to unclip these couple of fuse boxes and wiring things, I guess you can call them, these modules, from the side. And lastly, our hood switch right here. Just got to disconnect that. If we had to replace the lower hose here, the smaller one, I think it would be fine because you can see it connects right back there into the thermostat housing. However, this other one that's bad, the longer hose, connects further back under there, and I just have no way of accessing the other end of it as is. So I think we're gonna have to take off the vacuum pump, unfortunately. A few things we need to do for the vacuum pump here. First off, let's pop the ionization module off. Let's move that out of the way too. There's 2 10 mils right here. Next, let's pop off the vacuum line that goes to the vacuum pump right here. It's just this quick connect piece. Just push down on it and it'll slide right off like that. I'm gonna be careful with this. Don't pull on it too much. I've actually replaced mine with a silicone one, which is obviously more durable, but if yours is still the hard, brittle plastic, be careful with that. And then lastly, there are 2 13 millimeters for the bracket and the pump itself. There's one right here, and then there's a second one tucked in on the underside down there that you can't really see. If you come in from the front of the car, you can see where that 13 mil is at. And it's not too bad to get to. I'm sticking a rag under here just in case the pump leaks out some oil. There we go, just a little bit of wiggling. I am seeing this semi-new gasket is stuck on here. I hope I can salvage this. Unfortunately, it's stuck to the valve cover. Oh, God bless. Beautiful thing about having a gasket that's only a couple years old, it's still nice and soft, it's still doing its job, so we can definitely reuse this once I clean it up. And would you look at that, with the vacuum pump out of the way, we've got perfect access to both of those bolts. I am still leaking oil out of there, I see, so I'm gonna put the rag back for the time being, but I didn't really lose much oil at all. Saab wanted to make this a little extra difficult, I guess, but you can see both these hose clamps that are mounted to the oil cooler are upside down, meaning the part I need to grab is on the underside. The two over here are easy. You can see one of them right there, the other one under the paper towel. But these two are gonna be a bit of a pain. I bought these pliers for like 20 bucks, and it's one of the best decisions I ever made. Essentially, it's like a long arm, and it has this, so when you squeeze the handle, it pinches the hose clamp, makes ones like that super easy to remove. Gosh, what a pain. Oh, and there goes a bunch more coolant. Between the oil cooler and the hose right here, I was able to push on one side of the clamp to rotate it maybe only like 20 degrees or so, but just enough so I could grab on the back side of that clamp and get it off. I also had to feed it like under all the shift linkage and everything, so it's definitely a bit of a pain to get to that. But man, look at that hose. There's a nice big hole in it. Oh my gosh, wow. Looks like I was able to get the second one in the same kind of way. This one didn't break, but I figure it's good preventative maintenance while I'm in here to just replace both of them. New strategy, I struggled with this for about 5 minutes trying to get the clamp up to here, and it just won't get over the lip of the oil cooler, so I'm trying to push it back down this way off of the hose entirely and onto the sort of the nipple on the oil cooler, and I think that should just pull this hose off. Oh yeah, there we go. Here's our two new hoses. Thankfully, the way these are positioned in the car, you can actually see the part number on them. So we have our long hose here. This is the one that failed, and then our short hose. So this is kind of exactly how they go in the car. There's two outlets on the thermostat, and then there's obviously one or two outlets, I should say, on the oil cooler, one at the top for the shorter hose and one at the bottom for the longer hose. Together, the new OEM hoses with shipping were around $40. It's a little bit hard to get the camera in there, but once you take the vacuum pump off, you can't miss them. They're both right here next to each other. Thankfully, both those can be reached pretty easily with just a normal set of hose clamps, or hose clamp pliers. We're definitely losing a pretty healthy amount of coolant. And here's a look at our failed hose. I mean, this thing really failed. You can see it has some wire on the inside there, but wow, that thing just completely went out. Got our hose clamps on. I'm going to start with the long one. I think that'll probably be best since that one's tucked in here a bit more. Actually, this one kind of blocks the shorter one once you get it on, so I'm gonna do the shorter one on this side first, on the oil cooler side. And we'll put that on in a position where a normal person can access it without a special tool. This one I could see where they might do that a different way because of this other radiator hose coming right through here. Actually, I kind of see why they do it this way now, because now this hose is rubbing on here. So I might actually rotate it. It's now making a lot more sense as to why they did this the way they did, as unfortunate as it is. Both the lines are fully installed. I ended up flipping this hose clamp around to the underside. With this tool, it wasn't too bad to do or to really access. And I have this radiator hose kind of sitting where it should be. So I might actually even move it a little bit further because I just don't want this to poke into here and then cause a leak. So I'm pretty sure that's why they had it like that to begin with. And those two back there are on. I did temporarily pop this out so that way I had some better access. But I think without further ado, let's get our vacuum pump back on. Definitely want to make sure that your mating surfaces are prepped. I just wiped off everything real quick to make sure. Vacuum line's hooked up again. Anything else you might have unplugged over here, make sure you get that. And lastly, we've got our battery box. Sure the battery goes around your 13 mil that you have there. I will say though, scenarios like these are exactly why I keep a gallon of water and coolant in the trunk at all times. You never know when you might need it. Let's go ahead and fill this thing up.